welcome to Conversations with me, your host Sarahina Mayoyo, where we look at all issues that women go through and try and find solutions to those challenges. Now, I'm sure every woman has gone through this and has experience with fresh starts. I'm sure we've had a lot of them in our journeys. And that is because we try so much to be the good people that we are supposed to be. And also, we want to actually get to the next level. But we find ourselves going 10 steps forward and 1,000 steps back.
Go and sin no more. That's John 8, verse 11.
Honestly, that excerpt for me has been the bane of my existence. I've sometimes even said, Jesus can be so bold. How do you tell a woman who's just been caught in an act of adultery, go and sin no more? But we are going to look at that with my co-host today. Ukuti, how does a woman who has gone through so many mistakes start from a fresh start going forward? Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, friend, and you know the drill. Please let us know who you are, those who don't know you.
Yes, my name is Matshego Njumbuka, and I'm a very good friend of Sarahina and a friend of the show.
Yeah.
And I'm a mother of 3 beautiful kids and a partner, a daughter, a sister, and I also work in the corporate world as a content producer. Awesome. And I'm very excited to be here today.
Yeah.
Very excited. I was looking forward to this.
Thank you also to, for you coming into the show
of course.
and helping us with these topics. Today we are actually looking at, a very deep topic. And as a result, even the quote we started with is actually the title, or the topic of today's discussion.
Yeah.
Go and sin no more. That's where we started, and this is an excerpt from the Bible.
Yeah.
When Jesus spoke to a woman. And for me, what I took out of it and also that spoke to me was that at that particular moment, he was speaking to the woman. He was talking to the woman and saying, go and sin no more. He didn't go to the men or to the man who was caught in the act with this woman. He spoke to this woman specifically. And I want you to answer, for me, honestly, what's your thought? You've just been caught in the act of adultery. You are still naked. Like, it's all happening fast. And then this man comes up to you to say, stop sleeping around. Go and stop sleeping around. Or go and stop cheating. Does that make sense to you?
It doesn't. And can I tell you, that's one of the stories that I've struggled with for a long time. And one of the things that I need Jesus one day when we meet to sit down and explain to me. Because I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get even the context of that story.
Yeah.
There's so many facets to it. He could have, it goes to show that Jesus,
Yeah.
because there were men who were gathered around at that point in time.
Yeah.
And he could have easily rebuked her
Yeah.
to win favor with those people.
Yeah.
And instead he didn't. For him, what was important was this lady's salvation. What was important was the fact that she does not rebuke herself. She doesn't condemn herself from the act.
Yeah.
For me, it just meant that there is always, with every decision that you make, there's always, joy does come in the morning.
Yeah.
There's always a second chance.
There's always a silver lining.
There's always a silver lining in every situation.
And it gives hope. But for me, I think, when I read that the first time, and at the time I wasn't spiritually mature enough to understand things, I read it literally, with a naked eye. And I was like, the nerve Jesus has. Does he know even the reason why I'm sleeping around? Have we dealt with the issue that I have for me being promiscuous? For you to come to me and be like, girl, please, man, I'm asking you, can you stop sleeping around? Do you know why I'm sleeping around? Imagine us now moving out of this building, walking into Hillbrow. And we're like, we are going to go and help, women who are sex workers. And then you walk up to this woman and you say, stop doing what you're doing. Go and sin no more. That woman will be like, are you crazy?
Are you crazy?
So for me, I wanted to bring this about to say that what gave Jesus the audacity and also the authority to speak those words to that lady.
Yeah.
Those words that make absolutely no sense to someone. That lady was caught a few minutes ago. So how do you know? But you'd have to look at what he said before, because he says there, neither do I condemn you. He actually starts by saying, woman, where are your accusers? Because I feel Jesus knew that women will always be accused because of Eve.
Goodness.
Like we inherited that from Eve. We are accused for
Everything.
you understand? Even for being, mistreated.
Dude,
At some point, it's
even
because of us. It's blamed to us.
leave all of that. Let's talk about this woman.
Yeah.
Where is the man?
I mean, there were two of them that were caught,
Where is the
right?
man?
But so it's as if Jesus knew that a woman will always carry this burden
Burden
of
of being
always having
accused.
to prove herself and also, to defend herself against the system. So he starts by saying, where are your accusers? And then when she looks around, there's no one, right?
Good.
And then he says, okay, neither do I condemn you. And before I go to the next part, I think this for me is where the depth is of why he was able to say, go and sin no more.
Yeah.
Because of the condemnation part, right? Because as women, we are the ones who bear the scar. If you sleep with a boy before marriage, who bears the scar?
Ubani? If
Because
you
who
s-
gets pregnant
Exactly.
and shows that I slept with somebody?
Sibe singayazi noma ngubani lo somebody, but wena, the evidence of the act.
It's, you are the evidence. But the man, the boy, never bears the scar in terms of being seen, right? So we always, in situations, take the condemnation,
and
you
we probably take it, and in fact we don't probably, we take it and give it to ourselves as well.
We give it to ourselves, of
Self-condemnation.
course. We give it to ourselves. And please don't misquote me. I'm not saying we shouldn't take responsibility.
Exactly.
We
That's
shouldn't
actually
take
the part I was gonna-
accountability. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the condemnation,
Part
the
of it.
taking it all upon yourself. Ukuthi, it was because of me. It's all
my
me. I'm the
mistake.
reason. Jesus went straight to that in that woman, as if he knew that in future
Yay.
women are going to be dealing with this, and I need to give them umpago, like a little skaftinyana to say that in the future when you guys deal with this issue, know
Know.
that I said
Know
neither
that
do I
condemn you.
condemn you.
That is power.
right?
That is absolute power, and it's such a beautiful gift.
It freed me when I
It
actually
is
saw
such
that.
a beautiful gift, and it's a gift that I wish women could understand and take with them, because it doesn't necessarily mean you'll get it right all the time.
Of course.
But the knowledge,
The
knowing that you're
knowledge.
not condemned.
The knowledge.
And again, not that we are saying don't take responsibility for your actions. You are very responsible for your actions, and you probably will pay for your actions
Of
for whatever.
course.
Like
Consequences.
you will suffer the consequences. You will fall pregnant. We will say that you're pregnant. But
When it has
don't-
happened.
when it's happened, don't condemn yourself.
Yeah.
because Jesus does not condemn you.
And I think there's something very deep in terms of condemnation that Jesus was dealing with.
Okay.
And that's why he really wanted to uproot it from
Yeah,
that woman,
yeah.
and also uproot it from
For
every
all
other
other
woman in
women
the
after
future.
that. Mhm.
It's because condemnation has a way of keeping you in the sin. It
Ewa?
has a way of creating a cycle of the sin. That thing that says, what's the point?
What difference does
What's
it
the
make?
point of actually being
Getting
good when
out
I'm this
because
bad? You know?
I'm bad already.
I'm bad
That is
already.
so
I mean, I'm
true.
already damaged goods. So what's the point of keeping myself pure for a husband?
Awesome.
Because I'm already damaged goods. You know? So he knew the danger of condemnation, and he had to deal with it so direct in that moment for every other woman who is to come in history. So I want us to, explore that a bit more after the break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. And before the break, we were talking about our topic, go and sin no more, but also where it comes from and what gave Jesus the nerve to actually say that to that woman who was so weak, And I think we ended on such a powerful point when we speak about he went and dealt with condemnation. Because, as women, as much as we try to have fresh starts from our mistakes and we try to do better next time, that feeling of, I'm going 10 steps forward, but
20
1,000 steps back. It actually disappoints us and discourages us so much that we don't want to try anymore. We're like, you know what, I'm bad, so take it or leave it. And we continue. So what Jesus was dealing with there is that exactly, to say that, no. There's actually so much more from you, and I can cut you from it.
Yeah.
And how he cut it,
Yeah.
he went straight for condemnation.
Sure.
So that judging myself, guilty, which creates
The
the
cycle.
pattern,
Yes.
the cycle,
Yes.
Um,
And I think what the guilt part of it, or the condemnation part of it, comes, or you can easily you can release it by being realistic about the position that you put yourself in. Ne? Understanding that what you did was wrong, but at the same time understanding that there's life after that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I think that second part, understanding that there's life,
There's
after,
life
that,
after that.
because that woman, when she was in that position, looking down on the floor,
Because she was looking on the floor the whole time.
already there she knew. She knows what she has done. She's accepting the punishment.
And she's ready.
She's
to receive
ready.
it.
So it's as if Jesus is saying, no, don't stay there.
Phakamisa inhloko.
Yes, don't stay there in the, I know I'm bad, judge me then, punish me. Do not stay
Don't be a
there.
victim.
Don't use that as now your reason for staying down. Come up, because there's something I say afterwards. And I say,
Go and sin
neither
no
do
more.
I
Condemn
condemn
Okay,
you.
okay.
I actually kill what's making you look down. I'm saying, neither do I condemn you. Then I start saying,
Go and sin no
go
more.
and sin no more.
Yeah.
And that for
Yeah.
me is such a freedom statement.
Yeah.
It's like a release. You know, when you release a dove that you've held and then you say go. I think that's what he does when he says that for women. And now we are in a point where it's like God is saying, listen, girl, I know your adulteries.
Yes.
I know what you've done. I'm not new to it, okay?
Nothing stays hidden.
Also, I know you've got accusers. It's not news to me, you
Yeah.
know. So let's even stop, wasting our prayers in repeating the same thing every day when you're going to prayer to say, I'm sorry, I did it again.
You know-
Tomorrow, I'm sorry, I did it again. The next day, I'm sorry, I did it again. Jesus is like, let's
Enough.
move now.
Enough.
Let's move from the cycle. Let's cut it. And where do we cut it? Let's deal with that condemnation.
Condemnation.
Where does condemnation come when it comes to women?
I think first of all, it's the expectancy from society.
Yeah.
We're expected to behave and to be in a certain way.
To be perfect.
To be perfect. I go back to the example that I used initially. Where was the man in all of this? Not only was the man not there in that scenario, but generally the man is nowhere to be found.
When it comes to
When
accountability
it comes to
now,
accountability.
and also taking, responsibility for
Yes,
the act.
yes.
Yeah.
So naturally, because there's no one else to be seen in this situation, and because now we see you,
Yeah.
you are going to you are going to take it. You're going to take it. And I think, dare I say, it's again not knowing the full truth about who you are and who your father is. Because the truth of the matter is, it does not matter what you do. Doesn't matter where you've been, doesn't matter what you've done. You are still a child of God.
Yeah.
Regardless of your indiscretions, as long as you repent, as long as you confess that you repent, you understand what you've done, you are still a child of God. And that sin actually can be taken away.
There's a spanner. You know me and spanners.
Oh, thank you.
Let's go to religion and how religion has played a big part in terms of condemnation. Because religion seems to have, drawn a picture of a very judgmental God, a very unimpressed God, a God who has a face that is always forever frowning.
Frowning.
He's always not happy, not pleased. That's what religion has done. And
That's
as
what
a
religion
result,
has taught us.
and as a result, every weekend, people go to church because they are going to face this frowning face who is angry because they've done stuff during the week. And as a result, people have all these different, ways they go to church. A person's going to go and tithe because they're paying for everything they've done in the week.
Yeah.
Or the person is going to go to say, I'm sorry, it's me again, because there's been this picture that has been drawn. And women
that
have
is
taken that
crazy.
because religion has sort of, given the sense that, God doesn't really care much. He discards women. Because some of the things that are said in the Bible, they are misrepresented by many religious people, you know. The fact that, you know, when a woman was going through their period, you know, they were unclean and all of that. Now, how it gets how it gets interpreted to us sometimes by religion is that women have just always have this weakness about them that God has not been pleased with. You know,
it's such a lie.
And it's such a lie. And I mean, this borders into, you know, the issue of men taking over, you know, and men being the ones that are, you know, the strong. So for me, this one is huge. You know, it's huge because it's as if Jesus was coming to dispel that in the mind of a woman, to say that whoever has taught you that I have anything against you, please understand that you did this sin a few minutes ago, girl. You are on the floor now. You were sleeping with a husband of another woman. But right now, few minutes later, I do not condemn you. For me, it's so freeing.
Well, it is so amazing. It is so amazing to know that we've got umthetheleli, someone who tells
an advocate, right?
An advocate. You know, someone who is there to remind you of your worth, to remind you of your worth, to remind you of your purpose, why you're here.
Oh, worth. You know, to remind you of your worth.
To let you know that you are not your mistakes. Mistakes are inevitable.
When you're talking about worth, you're actually reminding me of this analogy that a lot of people like to use of money, paper money. And if you squash it, and if you throw it on the floor and you do this, you know, you stomp on it, can you still go and buy with it? Of course you can, because it doesn't lose its value and its worth.
Society is going to remind you of the things that you have done.
Ooh.
And now, that freedom, that's what you need to internalize that freedom. Again, it does not mean that the grace of God says go and
sin again. No, he says go and sin
he says
no
don't
more.
Do it anymore.
That's the grace of God
now
that's
you've
saying
done
that.
It.
Yeah.
But please don't do it anymore.
Yes.
Because there's grace that's afforded for you.
There's grace that is sufficient, and remember, there's power, because I've just said neither do I. So when I said neither do I condemn you, I'm actually saying I'm giving you power not to sin anymore. After the break, we're going to continue on that, and I want to hear your last thoughts as well. So stay tuned. Welcome back, and you're still watching Chatting with Sarahina. And Matsaho and I were talking about the go and sin no more topic, right? And how beautiful actually it is when you get to understand where it was coming from, you know, because when we start reading it offhand, we're like, what? It's so confusing. How do I go and sin no more when I've just sinned?
Can we just bask in my sin, guys?
But when we understand where Jesus was coming from, to say that I've just given you power to not go and sin, you know, so now you've got the power because, you know, the power is taken away by condemnation. And we spoke about this earlier, to say that that woman was in such a condemned spot. She had all the men surrounding her. She felt like the worst, the scum of the world. And Jesus decides to uplift her in that moment. For me, it's huge because it's a freedom he was giving. And it speaks to there is liberty in God. There's liberty in grace. You don't win with people by making them feel scared.
Yes.
You actually win when you allow people to make decisions freely. You know, so for me, it's so empowering because it means there's going to be authentic change, not the change that is for weekend. For weekend, when I go to church, I must wear a certain way. But during the week, I can be myself. What does that mean? During the week, you are being yourself. So what are you in church?
I was actually going to say, imagine what happened to that woman after she left.
Yo.
It's unfortunate it's not recorded in the Bible. But can you imagine? I can imagine going back to my house and thinking,
what just happened?
What just happened? I'm sure that woman deleted that man from her cell phone.
Every other. No. Every.
Like the one in Sugakuya and every
in fact,
other
the whole
person
contact
who's going
book,
to make me.
The whole address book.
You know? Delete all of them because I don't need this.
Like, who was that guy that I met?
About that guy,
I met a guy today.
Who is this man?
Oh, my word.
Who is this man? The lover of my soul.
Listen here, man. The lover of my soul.
The lover of my soul. Who is this man who has given me eternal liberty?
He filled her up in that moment.
Can you imagine that woman, everything that she does from that moment, she thinks, what would that man say?
What
Let
my
me-
lover? Oh,
What is my lover
man,
going to
come
say? Like,
on
I
now.
cannot disappoint him.
Wow, that
Let
is
me
so
do better.
awesome.
If not for me, let me do better for him.
That is so awesome.
What?
Then it speaks to also now because we're talking about a woman who has cheated, and cheating is such a hot topic, right? But it speaks to then, when Paul speaks to married people, and he tells us how we should be with each other.
Yeah.
And he tells husbands to submit and tells wives to love. We always ask this question, my husband and I, Kuti, who do we report to when we've done wrong, when we've broken those rules?
Yes.
Not to each other. We are not accountable to each
each
other because we didn't give
other.
each other those rules.
rules.
There's someone we account to. So I need to know that when I'm making a decision to be faithful to my spouse, I'm not doing it for him.
It's not for him.
I'm actually honoring the one who said to me, be faithful.
Honor.
And I think this is so beautiful then, because it speaks to the reason why we do, again, our why.
Why?
Why
Our
do
purpose.
I live as an integral person? Why do I live as an honest person? Why don't I lie? It has nothing to do with you. And the problem with it having something to do with you is that I can actually break it. Because I can say,
it's not sustainable when
you've-
it's for you.
You've done something that warrants me to break it. Or you've left the marriage bed. You've gone outside.
Okay, let
Let me go
then.
outside too.
Let me do
Because
too.
it's about the other person. But when you are honoring God with what you do, when you are being honorable to God by not cheating, even when you are at a place where your husband will never find out,
Yeah.
you are like, but my lover can
cannot.
see me.
Like, ukhona, uyandibona, guys, I can't do
And I
this to him.
can't do this to
I
him.
can't do this to him. Nkosi
So Jesus was elevating this woman at that
Elevation.
point. He was elevating
Elevation.
her to say that I'm putting you in a place where the devil
no
can't
human
touch you.
being can touch you.
Oh
The
man,
devil cannot touch you. Isn't that such a
go and
beautiful
sin no
place to
more.
be in?
This is actually a big one. This is huge. The go and sin no more. It's actually huge because it's elevation.
Yes.
It says that you've got power now to make proper decisions.
To make good decisions.
and as
Doesn't
women,
mean you won't slip.
of
Does
course,
not mean you won't slip. You will slip.
You
You
will
will fall.
slip.
But
now you'll
angeke
also
akekele
know.
kuphela.
And also you'll know when you've slipped who
It's easier now.
who you've gone against or who you've messed up to, and you'll go to that person that you've wronged,
Yes.
the first person that you've wronged, which takes me to David in Psalms 51, who says
Yeah.
that it's only against you, God, that I've sinned. He recognizes it. Ukuthi, you know what, before I go to my husband, let me go to
Mangiqale up and lungise
the
up.
husband to say that I've wronged you by doing this. It makes it easy then to go and repent to your husband ke ngoku ekhaya, because you come from your the husband above, and then you go home and you say, I've messed up,
Yo.
honey, I've messed
Wow.
up. And now you are humbled
Oh, you're on the floor.
by the
You are-
first husband.
Nkosi.
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
Right? That is so amazing. And then we go back to this condemnation thing. And us, we need to actually figure this out.
Okay.
We need to know this for ourselves. Ukuthi. It's an attack. It's a tool of the devil.
It's
Condemnation is a tool of the devil. Paul actually talks about it to say that in Romans 8. There's therefore now no condemnation. And the reason why he starts that sentence
yes.
and that chapter that way is because he's trying to show us that when you are walking with your now lover, the lover of your soul, and you are walking in no condemnation,
Yeah.
you actually are more than a conqueror.
Yup.
Because in the same chapter, he speaks about us being more than conquerors. So you are more than a conqueror because the devil can bring you any weakness.
Yeah.
The devil can come to you with your old habits and say,
You can
you remember
overcome
you
it."
used to like doing this. Come and let's do it again. And you say to him, listen, I may be weak right now and I may
But-
find myself falling to this thing, but please understand, you can't
I'm
condemn
more
me
than
for
a
it.
conqueror.
Because I have a lover who said to me, go and sin no more. He
Sad.
doesn't condemn me for it.
Sure.
I think this is freedom for women.
It is,
Right?
definitely. It
I think
is.
this is freedom that women need. Also so that we stop making our decisions from other people's point of view.
Yes, or from a point of fear.
From a point of fear. And who are we fearing?
Who are we fearing?
People yet again. It's always about people. So it helps women now to actually make decisions that are so informed, but also that come from a steady place, which is
Liberated.
God. You know, a steady place, which is God, to say that I know who I am, I know the scars I bear, but you know, the one I come from says he doesn't condemn me. So I can be as beautiful again. I can be as free again. I can be as powerful again. Yes, I've gone through all these things. I can be as powerful again. And I can go and stand in front of people and speak to them and change their lives. I mean, imagine me, promiscuous, drug addict, alcoholic, you know, all the things I've gone through in my life. The nerve for me to go and stand in front of people and talk about God. It's because neither do I condemn you. So I want to hear from you now. What is your take home?
Women, use this. Take it and run. You are not condemned. Again, it doesn't mean that you are given a license to go and do things that go against what God believes in or what God is. But know that when you slip, when you fall, just look up. Look up to the mountains where your help comes from. That's where you will find it. Always return to the center. You are not condemned.
Yeah, that is so powerful. I love that. And I think, you know, we're going to sound like a broken record. But when the truth is the truth, don't try and put
change it.
aromat in it. Go back to the center. You know, which is what you always say. Go back to your center. And that woman found her center after such a messy situation.
Messy, dirty, filthy
understand?
situation as far as people could see.
So I love that when you are ending, you are telling women yet again to go back to their lover by going back to the center. Yet again, thank you so much for coming through and for bringing a fresh perspective, you know, to all the conversations that we have.
Thank you.
Thank you. In concluding this topic, Go and Sin No More, I'm taken aback to Paul, who wrote the words, "There is therefore now no condemnation." And I asked myself, why would he write that scripture? Then I looked before what he said. He was talking about his battle with himself, of doing the things he didn't want to do all the time, but also doing the things he didn't want to do all the time. Which means that as human beings, we fall for this trap where we actually have all these beautiful goals, these beautiful things we want to do, but our nature takes us to the opposite direction. And as women, we fall for that trap too. But I want to tell you, women, be gentle with yourself, because God himself doesn't condemn you for those things. So stop condemning yourself and go and sin no more. Thank you so much for being part of our conversation, and we look forward to you joining us in the next episode. Same time, same place. Goodbye.